Oh, it is to see everything from that high up. Like, we're about 4,500 feet up in elevation. So to look out and just see all that is just, it's amazing. It blew my mind the first time I went. I was like, I knew this would be cool, but I didn't expect it to be that.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your fearless host, Angie Scott.
All right, everyone, welcome to this episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I'm super excited to introduce you to my guest today, Brenda Markham from whitebearflyfishing. There's a lodge up in British Columbia, Canada, and she's going to tell you all about the lodge and some exciting things they have to offer. And hopefully we can get a trip together for some of you listeners to head up that way and experience some of these amazing adventures. So Brenda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so first, before we get into all this stuff about the opportunities up that way, from what I understand, it's absolutely pristine, amazing fishing up that way. But before we get into that, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to fill listeners in a little bit on your background and how you ended up at White Bear Fly Fishing Lodge.
Well, I'm an Alberta girl, and my husband started guiding up in Terrace, and then that's what brought me to Terrace. It's because he started guiding, and then for another outfit, and then we decided that wasn't working out for us, and we wanted to go on our own, so we did, and we spent a couple years just doing it on our own. And then we were presented last year we were presented with the opportunity to get the lodge, and of course we took it because why not, right?
Right, absolutely.
And yeah, so and now we've been in the lodge for a year, and of course with COVID it's been tough, but things are picking up now, and next year is a brand new year. And I was just trying to think of how, besides the fishing, what else could I do to bring people up to this beautiful place and what we have to offer. And I love the outdoors, and I hike a lot. So I thought, why don't I do like an adventure package or something and then I started the heli snowshoeing, and I was like, well, how can I get people to do that too? Because I just love the outdoors, and I'd rather be outdoors than indoors. And
right. So to back up just a little bit before we start getting into that, so when growing up in Alberta, were you always an outdoors person?
Yes, although my options in Alberta were not as nice as here. I grew up in a small town. To get to any mountains, it was like a 3-4 hour drive. And to go fishing, it was 2-3-4 hour drive to get to any stream to fish. So it was, in that sense, coming up here, it was like everything was more like maybe an hour tops. Mm-hmm. You would drive to like another river, even though there's a river like right in town, you have more options within the hour driving.
Gotcha.
As opposed to like drive 2 hours just to get to a river.
Yeah.
Just to fish for the day.
Right. Yeah, that would be tough. So I'm sure it was kind of like getting to that area and seeing how accessible everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I joined a hiking group when I got here, and I started hiking, and now I'm just like every chance I get, I just want to go hiking. And I found like-minded people that are crazy enough to go with me. So
great. What's the wildlife?
It's all good.
What's the wildlife like up there when you're out hiking? Are there a lot of like bears and things like that around?
There's bears. I haven't come across any like I haven't seen any personally. I've come across evidence, or I can tell they're in the area, but I've never seen them. Mostly for wildlife, it's bears up here. I've seen, a moose or two and some deer, but the other day we had like a big mama grizzly and 3 cubs on our lawn, so we decided to encourage them to move along. As much as I want you to mow my lawn,
right?
I don't really want you on my property.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lodge is about 20 minutes out of Terrace. And it's nestled on about 7 acres of treed land, and it's a nice cedar lodge.
Yeah, nice. Well, when we first got introduced to each other, I think, if I recall, I had made some post in the Woman Angler and Adventurer Facebook group about trying to see if there's anyone in the group who maybe had experience living in an RV full time, because I was thinking about doing some sort of episode centered around that. I had a couple Mortons on the Move featured on the show not too long ago, where they did a big trip in their truck camper up to Alaska and the Arctic Circle, and kind of inspired me to see if there's more people out there that do stuff like that. And you reached out at the time. You were living full time in an RV, a holiday trailer, before moving into the lodge. So I wanted to touch on that just a little bit, because I think that's so cool. And, it's becoming more and more of a popular thing, I feel like. Maybe it's just because I recently got a truck camper, and now I'm getting introduced to all these people that do it. But it seems like it's growing. A lot more people are choosing that type of lifestyle. But there's definitely some challenges involved with that.
Yes, there was. We lived in it for 3 years. When we first come up to Terrace, we lived in it for 3 years, like full time, winter, spring, summer, fall. So winter, of course, keeping it was good in the winter. We just, we insulated and whatnot, and we stayed in a campground, so there was showers and laundry and stuff there. But the limited space wears on you after a while. That was my biggest challenge, was like the space was starting to, like, I need more space. Like,
I can imagine in the winter.
Nowhere.
Yeah, in the winter especially, I would think that would be tough.
Yeah, because then, so we didn't have water running in it during the winter. So, I would have to go outside and fill a water jug and bring it back in. And then we'd have like a big water jug. That's how we got our water. So, do dishes. So you boil your water, do your dishes. Yeah, it was a lot of work, especially in the winter. In the summer, I mean, it was nice, right? Like,
yeah.
But then, friends would go, "Hey, do you want to go camping?" I'm like, "Not really. No, I camp year round." No.
Right.
I'll go stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really want to go camping. No.
Yeah, you need a break from camping, whereas most people, that's their escape.
Yeah, unless, it's a tent and we're going floating down a river and we're going to do like an overnight or a couple nights, then yeah, okay, I'm game for that. But no, I just don't want to go to another campground and camp. No.
I can totally understand that. Yeah.
So needless to say, when we were offered the lodge, I was like, yes. When can I move in?
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this lodge. I mean, you sent me a picture, and I've got the website up actually right now in front of me, and I'll share a link to it in the show notes so listeners can log in and check it out. whitebearflyfishing.com. You'll be able to see what we're talking about here, but nestled in a beautiful woodsy area. Looks like mountains in the background. Talk a little bit about the lodge and what all is offered there, just at the lodge alone, without even having to go on any adventures.
Well, we have, there's 6 rooms, so in that picture that you have, there's the main lodge, and then there's another building that looks like a garage. There's 2 rooms above that we have, and then we have the waiter room, and we're building a sauna and a hot tub so that and you get home cooked meals. And we built a deck around just so that we can sit out and have a fire.
Nice.
We made a little nature trail on the property, like maybe a 5-minute little jaunt around in the trees, but it's a nice little nature trail, and there's a little creek that goes through. There's a logging road that goes behind that. I just hike up that too if I want to just go or snowshoe up it. And then the mountains behind the lodge, and then the famous Skeena River is it's across the highway, but you have to drive a little bit, 20 minutes just to get down to the river, but it's across the river, or across the highway, sorry.
Gotcha.
And then there's other rivers that are within 5-10 minutes.
Okay. And who does all the cooking?
Sorry?
Who does all the cooking?
I do.
Yeah, I saw you're the...
I do the cooking, the cleaning, the everything besides the guiding.
Gotcha. And you have... Who does the guiding? Is that your husband, or...?
Yeah, my husband, and then we have assistant guides as well.
Great. Awesome. So for this, so you've got this 7-day all-inclusive adventure package that the dates are either between March 15th and May 21st, May 22nd and September 30th, and then you've also got September 15th through November 15th, and there's different things that can be offered during those different time frames. But some of the activities, of course, hiking, you mentioned, helicopter rides, weather depending, obviously, but included with that could be snowshoeing, which sounds so cool. Like, I can't imagine taking a helicopter to a mountaintop, getting out and doing some snowshoeing without having to climb to the top of the mountain.
Right? I know.
Take a shortcut.
It was so amazing. I'm like, how how much energy I just saved?
Right.
Not hiking up to the top of this.
Talk a little bit about that. Yeah, talk about that experience.
We actually fly to very remote places. So we don't fly anywhere that you can actually hike into.
Okay.
So we're flying to remote places, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes outside of Terrace. And then we spend about an hour to, sometimes depends on the pilot's schedule, if he has anything going on or not. But usually about an hour up top at least. And then of course if the weather comes in or whatever, then we gotta go. But and we just explore and snowshoe and make snow angels and penguin slide and butt slide and whatever, just have fun on top of the mountain. And we laugh, we have a good time. The pilot stays with us and he leads us around so that we're all safe and we don't wander off into snow that could scoop us up. So we're all safe, and we just follow him wherever he leads us because he's that smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows all that kind of stuff. So rather than just say, "Hey, drop you off and they'll come back in an hour,"
good luck.
No, he stays and good luck. Hope you come back. He stays. He's got his first aid. He's part of search and rescue, and leads us around. And we go by his schedule. If he's got nothing else planned, then we stay longer. If nobody else is on a timeline, stay longer. I think the first time we went, we were maybe 2 hours on the mountain. And I think another time we went, we were about 2 hours.
I can't imagine the scenery must be absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, it is, to see everything from that high up. Like, we're about 4,500 feet up in elevation. So to look out and just see all that is just, it's amazing. It blew my mind the first time I went. I was like, I knew this would be cool, but I didn't expect it to be that amazing.
Awesome.
So,
well, that sounds worth the trip in and of itself right there.
Yeah. I went the first trip I did, I went to a glacier. Just a group of friends of mine and I went to a glacier with the same pilot. And then we just started talking about, like what could we do in the winter and whatever, and spring, and come up with snowshoeing.
Yeah, I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Just cruise around, explore, depending on where you go. If there's a peak you can hike to, if we have the time, we, hike up to the peak.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then another thing,
amazing.
Another option that sounds really cool, which I've never done before. I've had the opportunity a couple times to do it down in Florida, and then it just hasn't panned out. But I never thought about doing this up in Canada, but you have jet boat tours available.
Yeah, so I partnered up with Northern BC Jet Boat Tours, and I haven't done any yet, but this is something for next year. We go out and he takes us, we can go view waterfalls. Depending on the time of year, we can do bear viewing. There's ghost towns that he can go to that we can get tickets and go and then cruise around. There's hot springs. He knows numerous hot springs out like in the ocean.
Wow.
Well, we call it the channel. He knows of different secluded hot springs that we can go to. So I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Yeah.
I've seen his pictures and I've heard about it. I'm like, dude, this is something I need to add
for
to
sure.
this. So I picked that for the times that maybe the helicopter's not available.
Mm-hmm.
We could do the jet boat tours in there. And then if anyone wants to do fishing, we can do some fly fishing.
South Dakota is expanding pheasant hunting's horizon and giving sportswomen a greater voice in the field. The connection to nature, the adrenaline of the hunt, the satisfaction of eating the game you bag. Hunting is our shared legacy. Everyone is welcome to enjoy it. Go to huntthegreatestsd.com to hear stories from women who hunt and learn what makes South Dakota the world's pheasant capital. That's huntthegreatestsd.com. South Dakota, sportswomen welcome. Of course, I wanted to get into the fly fishing, and you even mentioned a possibility of ocean fishing for halibut, ling, and crab, which, that's amazing as well. So let's talk about some of those fishing opportunities in the area there.
So the fly fishing, we would do go to a river, or I guess if we could fit it in, we could do maybe a heli fishing where he flies us somewhere and go fishing. The ocean fishing, we would just go out for a day on the ocean and jig for halibut and ling, set a crab trap before we go out. And then,
very cool.
I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's long. Those days are long on the ocean because, if it's not happening right away, then,
right.
But it's so cool just to go out. The one area is like the Douglas Channel. That's closer to us, but there's another where we actually go out into the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Well, the channel is too, but we go to a different location, and then I have connections for doing that as well.
Very cool. I think anybody who doesn't typically get a chance to do that, regardless of how fast the fishing is just going to be in awe of the whole experience. So,
I mean, if you've never done it, I totally recommend doing it at least once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get to keep your catch and have halibut that night for dinner.
Ooh, fresh halibut for dinner.
I know.
Can't beat that.
I have to actually go out this spring because I had a request for halibut, and I'm like, I don't have any more.
Well, go get you some.
I fed it to the last time.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, that sounds just awful to have to go out and get some halibut.
I know, right? Like, oh man, really? I got to go out on the ocean for a day? Oh, shucks.
So,
Yeah.
so all of this.
We are catch and release in the river, though.
Oh, okay.
We do practice the catch and release. You can keep some salmon if you so choose. You can. We're not against it, but we do practice catch and release.
Right.
Keep our fisheries alive.
Yeah, and so is it mostly salmon that you're targeting in the river?
Salmon or steelhead.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Steelhead is strictly catch and release, though.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool. Well, I think most people that are into fly fishing are totally
catch and release.
Yeah, catch and release minded.
Yeah.
So maybe would make an exception
we're all
for some
about the
halibut in the ocean, of course.
Yeah, that's not so much catch and release because
Right.
that's food.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So this trip, with all these things we talked about, these amazing adventures that you have the opportunity to take part of, the price includes all your meals, transportation to and from the airport, all the tour costs, and fishing. I assume probably tipping your guides is customary, though, on top of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be extra.
Yeah.
And then your flight up here is extra, but
Yep. And then now where are we at with the COVID restrictions? You just have to show proof of vaccination.
To come into Canada, I believe you have to have a negative COVID test 72 hours prior to arrival.
Okay.
I know when you leave, going to the States anyway, you have to have a negative COVID test 72 hours prior to your departure.
Okay.
And then we have, and I've heard that you guys are doing it as well, a vaccination passport.
Okay.
We have to have one of those for flying. I'm not sure how that works for like Americans or like international people. I didn't actually quite get that far. I just had that thought now. I'm like, oh shoot, how does that work?
Well, it's also new to everybody. I think a lot of people are still just trying to figure this out.
That requirement is actually just something they're starting to implement at the end of the month.
Gotcha.
If you're leaving any Canadian airport, you need to have the vaccination passport. So I will find out how that works for international people.
Gotcha. And so
I think they still have the passport for, like, you have proof of vaccination when you come into Canada anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that works.
Gotcha. Well, when people reach out,
I just had that thought.
Yeah, absolutely. When people reach out,
I will have that information.
Yep. Yeah. We'll make sure everybody's squared away and has exactly what they need.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
per person, the cost for this entire 7-day all-inclusive adventure package, we're looking at $2,124 Canadian, and that includes your tax, and that's based on 3 people minimum, and you can have a maximum up to 6. So that's, I think, very, very reasonable for what we just talked about and all the amazing experiences that you can have. So what do people need to do if they're interested in finding out more and possibly putting together a trip?
If they contact me at whitebearflyfishing@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Instagram at guidewife, GUIDEWIFE, and Brenda Markle on Facebook. Or White Bear Fly Fishing on Facebook.
Got it. All right. I'm going to put links to all of that in the show notes too, just to make it easy for everybody. So whatever podcast platform you're listening on, you can go in there, click on it. You'll see the show notes and all the links will be right there. Or you can go to the website, thewomanangler.com. You'll see the episode there on the homepage for this and click on that and all the links will be there as well. So we'll make it as easy as possible. I'm also going to share about all of this in the Woman Angler and Adventure Facebook group, so if anyone happens to miss this episode, they can still find the information about the trip opportunities and get in touch with you. So I think it's a great idea, and I hope it's a fantastic success. I don't know that I will be able to participate this year just because my schedule is so busy. I just got our Lady Bass Anglers Association 2022 schedule just got released the other day, so I'm making plans for that, plus some other things, but I imagine this is going to be a success and something that you'll continue to do, so I hope that I will definitely be able to make it up there at some point for one of these adventures because it sounds so incredible.
I can't wait to host people. I'm a people person, so I love hosting people as well, and I love cooking for them, and I just love having people around and hosting people. So, and I love to share experiences. So
it's perfect.
I thought, what better way to do it than to create an opportunity?
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you found your calling.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's where my heart is, so
that's what it's all about.
And my passion.
That's what it's all about. I wish everybody could find that in their life because life is short and you need to follow your passion. It sounds like you're definitely doing that.
Yes.
So, well, thank you for being on the show, for sharing about this, for putting this together, and for following your passion, because that's what this show is all about, is to inspire other women out there who are like-minded like us, that love the outdoors, that love outdoor adventure, and just need some encouragement to, just go out there and get after it, do it. So,
yes.
Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to come on.